Hi guys, it is Monday and we are live here every week. We are on YouTube and we just answer questions from a private group. And our message here is about learning how to behave like a thin person instead of a dieter. And of course, as I say pretty much every week, being a dieter and being a thin person are completely different, yet we think that we can diet our way into being a thin person. You can diet your way into being a dieter, not into being a thin person. They're completely different. But today I'm going to talk specifically about another part of our culture, which is completely corrupted as well. Okay, obviously the diet industry, but also the exercise industry. And here's why. Exercise industry makes you feel like you have to do a whole lot more than you do to get really good gains. In other words, if you exercise very moderately, 2 or 3 times a week, you get huge gains from that. But we have this perception that you have to do a whole lot more than that. And by the way, let me phrase that, or let me modify that even more. When I say do moderate exercise 2 or 3 times a week, I'm talking moderate exercise. I know this. I have worked in the fitness industry. I don't anymore, but I did for years. And I also worked in the diet industry. I know these both very, very well. And it's almost in an effort, I'm not going to say that it's malicious by either industry. At the top end where the big bucks are, it is. But, for most people who run a gym or try to, help people diet, I don't think it's malicious, but it misses the big picture. And that is that you need to connect what you do physically, eating, or physically working out with kind of what matches who you are. Because if you don't, you're not going to last. And all the images you see of like the people, the big ads now are about Peloton and people are just sweating so hard and doing that. Okay, that's great. And I mean, I used to teach spinning. I know that that can be a kind of a high, really, from that kind of aerobic workout. But I don't do that anymore. You don't need to do that. There's a downside to that kind of cardio. I remember being so tremendously exhausted after that. This is when spinning started, like 20 years ago. Gosh, it was longer ago than that. And so same thing what Peloton is now. You kind of pretend you're riding somewhere. And I'm not saying it's not good to do aerobic exercise, but I'm saying that doing a moderate amount that doesn't leave you depleted, it leaves you energized, is a smarter way to go when you're looking at your life and how you're going to fit this in for the rest of your life. So here we are in this quarantine, and the COVID-19. I'm not a doctor, but I seen this enough by doctors on various news outlets. It's really good to have your lungs in shape for when this virus is around, because it attacks the lungs, right? How do you keep your lungs in shape? Well, you are fit, right? So it's highlighting the importance of lifelong fitness instead of this up and down kind of fitness that I think leaves people not wanting to exercise anymore, defeated, thinking that in order for it to be worthwhile, it has to be absolutely depleting. You have to like get on an outfit and get a gym bag and go to the gym. You don't have to do it. My message here, I think I'm being slow to the punch in saying this, is it can be so much less than that. So the image that goes with this YouTube video is what I have at home. It is a few weights, a yoga mat just because I don't want to lay on the floor directly, and a foam roller that I use to stretch and stuff. You don't need more than that to get a really good workout at home. Now, there's one thing that I can't believe I didn't say that. The absolute essential for me is music. I like yoga, but I only can do yoga with music, and that goes against what yogis say. I know. Well, I'm not worrying about being a yogi. I'm worrying about keeping my body in a reasonable condition, especially as I get older. And stretching and yoga is a huge part of that. But if you are like me and like music, use that to your advantage when you're working out. There is nothing better to motivate me, not even to motivate me to work hard, but just to enjoy it, than having like songs playing or music playing that I like. So if you're working out at home and it's during this quarantine and maybe you have a different routine that you do and you're missing it, and I've seen that all over our Facebook page, people talking about that. Don't let the quarantine defeat you in that way. In other words, I know it's different. You may have kids at home, you may be working from home. It's all different. Yeah, and I don't like it either, right? It just kind of sends you in a weird, I don't know, weird routine. But it's okay. We're very lucky still. Just make sure during this time actually is a really good time to figure out how to exercise at home, because I firmly believe that exercising at home is so much easier to maintain. Because just think, if you have a baby at home, you can exercise at home when the baby's asleep, or if someone else is around watching the baby. You don't have to get out and go in your car and drive to a gym. And even though if you like that as a social outlet, it's a lot more work. And I there were times when I taught, of course I went to a gym, but I never when I go to use a gym, it's because I'm already there doing something else because I play tennis. So I do. But if I was not doing that, I would work out at home only, because I can control the environment, I can play the music I want, and I can do what feels good to me. Now, here's the second part of what's really important regarding your attitude towards this. Do not use exercise to punish yourself or beat yourself up or try to do some behemoth goals that don't suit what your life actually is. If you are training to be an Olympic athlete or whatever, that's different. But if your goal, which is such a nice goal, is to have a body that is strong, that can resist disease because you have a good immune system, because of course exercise helps with that, that your lungs are in good shape, you can zip up a flight of stairs no problem, you can carry a big box in if you need to, all these things that make your life easier, then match your exercise to that. And that is 2 to 3 times a week, definitely doing a little bit of lifting if you can. There are so many people out there who show how to lift weights properly. I always say lifting weights is really good for you, done correctly. So make sure you're doing it correctly. But I'm telling you, instead of saying, I've got to go and do an hour-long class, just go, I'm going to do, just phrase it differently. Say, I'm going to put on music, and for 5 songs that I like, I'm going to move my body. And I'm not going to even, like, I don't plan my workout. I do what feels good that day. And I don't work out every day. I probably work out 3 to 4 times a week right now. And I'm not playing tennis, which is how I usually get cardio, and I really miss that. So I'm doing some more cardio at home because it's good for me. But I put on music, and I do what's enjoyable for me. Do not try to make yourself do things that you are not going to be able to sustain because you don't really enjoy it. And if you're saying, I would never enjoy any form of exercise, well, you probably think a lot of things about yourself that aren't true, including about food as well. Like, you could never not eat when you're hungry, when you're not hungry, if everyone else around you is eating. There's a lot of things we believe about ourselves that are not true. So stay open, keep your mind open towards what exercise you actually might enjoy. And instead of giving yourself, every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, 20 burpees and, 10, I don't know, sit up, whatever. Instead of doing that to yourself, let it loose and say, I'm going to turn on my favorite music. I'll wear whatever I want. Like, I don't, see people on workout videos, they always like they're getting all the outfit on. Okay, I wear whatever I've been sleeping in and I work out in that because I'm going to wash it anyway. And, don't make it easy for yourself. Make it nice. And, if a mirror helps you, use a mirror. If a mirror makes you feel bad, don't use a mirror, as long as you can make sure that your form is correct when you're doing any weightlifting. And it is, of course, helpful to see that. But let's make it so that when you're working out, you have positive vibes towards yourself. So if you have a mirror that makes you feel bad, don't look in it, right? Just feel the music, feel what you're doing, and start with 4, 5 songs, put them on, and just say, I'm just going to do something. And if you say, well, I know I obviously was a fitness trainer, so I have lots of things in my head to do, but you can download something online, just like 5 exercises, do 1 for each song. Let's say you would do, push-ups for 1 song, modified push-ups, or some kind of thing like that. And if you're saying, oh, push-ups, I can't do a push-up, then you can modify them, or if you can't, then don't do them. Start with something else. And some weights that are reasonable for you. I use an 8-pound set and a 20-pound set. 20-pound may not be good for you. If you're really strong, it may not be enough. Who cares? It doesn't. I'm just telling you what I have, but it doesn't really mean anything. It's what works for you. And if you don't have weights, there's plenty of things around your house you can use as weights that aren't specifically designed for that purpose. Gallons of water you can use. There's lots of things you can do, but you can also just use your own body. Obviously, push-ups don't require anything else, and just sit-ups you can do. Just anything, like if you like to dance or whatever, just dance, just move, and then when you're still happy and you're still having fun and you think you could push yourself to do more, just say, leave yourself. I know this is so contrary to what everyone says, but I really believe this. Leave yourself wanting a little more. So what's the gain there? Okay, so maybe you don't work out another 50 calories or whatever. It's probably nowhere near that, but let's just say 50 calories. Okay, so that particular day you work out and you don't burn that 50 calories that you're concerned about. Okay, but psychologically in your head, you were still feeling happy during it, and you're so much more likely to go back if you say, I can cut loose if I start feeling like really bad. I just don't want to do it anymore. And you guys, sometimes there's days when I start and I'm like, I'm not into this today. I can't do it today. I got something on my mind. Something's bugging me. It's okay, because you end up building trust with yourself where you don't think you're just you don't think you're just trying to get out of it. It's the same thing with food and eating. You trust yourself. You go, yeah, no, I like working out today. I just don't feel good. And maybe when you don't feel good, and sometimes you don't even know why you don't feel good, but then that may be a good day not to work out because you need your strength to fight off whatever it is you're fighting off. All these things, you guys, with Diets Are Fattening, the message is all about connecting. It's all about listening, not punishing, learning from your experience. And when you find things that you do like where I work out, I have a little list of a few little things I know I like to do in case I'm just not remembering them very well at that moment, and I have them written down for me. So it's an act of taking care of yourself. And instead of saying, okay, so that Peloton commercial or that Biggest Loser show or that, girl I was watching the other day work out when I walked by somewhere, they were doing this and they were really sweaty and it was really great. Fine, but that doesn't have to be you. What is important for you is that you just keep moving. Just keep moving. Because if the old use it or lose it, I really do believe that. But you don't have to use it every day. And you don't have to max out your workouts every day. Again, unless you have some different kind of a goal. But I'm here with a message for people living normal lives, normal, happy lives, who want to have a body that they can count on, that feels good, that you're in clothes you like, that you don't have to worry about all this anymore. But there's so much, I hate belaboring this point, there's so much money to be made off of us in these arenas, because when we don't feel good about our bodies, what we're eating, like, oh, I'm when you feel heavy, you just, not everybody, but I'm talking to us dieters, and we have a lot in common. So if you don't feel this way, that's cool. But for a lot of us do. When you don't feel that you're in your that your body isn't where you want it to be, and you don't feel like yourself because you feel too heavy for you, and that's your judgment, not mine. You judging yourself that way, it's not a joyous place to be, and it's unnecessary. So you want to bring yourself back to not just saying, hey, I'm going to eat whatever I want and I'm going to only work out if I really feel like it. Don't take that message away from this. Take the message that I definitely need to move my body. I need to take care of myself. But I'm going to do things that I can do for the rest of my life, not that I will max out on and then not do anything for a year, because that happens, you guys. That happens all the time. Believe me, I was a fitness trainer for years, I think close to 20, and that's what I saw. The people who had the nice rhythm of a couple times a week, if they were coming to my class or whatever, they were there for years. They were there as long as I was. The people who came in and every day they came to my class, someone else's class, and everyone knew them, they were there all the time, they burn out. They burn out. And they actually hurt their joints. And look, long-term vision here is what our message is. It's long-term vision. It's not the quick fix. It's how are we going to do this? How are we going to eat for the rest of our lives to have a body we love and feel joyful around food, which is quite a big pleasure in life, right? And how are we going to work out for the rest of our lives? We're going to do things in moderation with a mentality that is not punishing, that is respecting your body. So you say, not I'm just going to eat whatever I want. No, when I'm hungry, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to use hunger as this amazing tool. I'm going to harness my hunger. I'm going to use that. It's like, if you can imagine hunger as a racehorse, and you're on that, and you get to ride that horse. But when when you're using that, it's so powerful, and it'll take you where you want to go, versus when you're just trying to like fear hunger and not let yourself get hungry, or eating so much one day and because you're just binging, and then the next day not eating enough at all, right? So you want to take charge of the power of your hunger. And I always have to say, remember, we're so lucky we can answer hunger, because the real tragedy is obviously people who are starving, and we lose sight of how lucky we are. So think about your hunger as a gift. Think about your need to move, which your body, whether or not you can feel it alive in you, your body wants to move. Use both those, your hunger and your drive to move, those two things, and use them, value them, spend them. Don't think about spending calories. Think, I wake up every day with a certain amount of hunger. I don't know what it'll be, and some days it's more than others, but I know one of the best joys of my life is every day I get to get up and go, where am I going to spend my hunger? I can't wait to be hungry. Oh, I'm hungry. Great, what am I going to have? And satisfying it, and then moving on. And as much as I always say I love food and eating and healthy thin mentality, people do, you do, but it also becomes less important in a good way. In other words, it occupies less of your headspace. And that's a good thing, because there's a lot better things to constantly think about than, what do I get to eat? Oh gosh, do I have the food I need to follow this recipe that's a diet recipe that blah, blah, blah. No, stop. Stop doing that to yourself, okay? So calmness, and during this quarantine, it's a great time to figure out a nice place in your house. It doesn't have to be big, just a little corner, move some furniture, whatever, a little place to do something. Keep it pleasant. When you wake up in the morning, if you not even sure you feel like doing it that day, and you feel like you should be doing it that day, don't look at your exercise like, I have to do this. Just start. Just start. I'm telling you, the hardest part is putting on your sneakers, if you wear them. I actually don't wear sneakers working out, because I think it's good for my feet to hold my body, and so that's an aside. But so the hardest thing is turning on the music, or just starting. And then once you start, you're like, well, I'm here, and I don't have to do it an hour. I'm gonna do it for 5 songs, whatever the length. This day it's a little bit longer than the other. Who cares? Just do 5 songs, and I'm gonna have fun. And if I'm just feeling so happy, and I want to do a lot more, maybe I'll do a little more. But I will always leave myself feeling like I could do more, but I'm going to move on now. And it just keeps that positivity and that feeling of you controlling the workout instead of the workout controlling you. Like when I was a dieter, I would have papers of my workouts and what I was doing. Just you don't need to do that. It's not joyful. This is so much more joyful. So hang in there during this quarantine with your food and your exercise, with your eating and your exercise. Use this as a time to really focus on what we're talking about here, so that for the rest of your life, you can lighten up, have a happy relationship, a body you love, and enjoy food and eating more than you ever have as a dieter. Dieters, we're never happy. We're either dieting or we're in between diets and feeling bad about what we're eating. That's no way to live, guys. I promise it's so much better this way. Please like, share, subscribe. Send me any questions you have. We could here or in our Facebook group, and I will be back soon. I have a what I ate video that I've already done, but I have to put it together. But that'll be out probably by tomorrow. Thanks, guys. See you soon.